Today we are making a watercolor fairy tale land with a dragon flying in the sky. So we're going to start with our pre-sketched dragon, and you're going to take your Sharpie and we're going to outline our friend here. So I'm just going to slowly, carefully follow these lines. We want those to come to a point. Here's his neck, face. Work on the other wing. Okay, now that I have him outlined, I'm just going to fill him in with the marker. Just being careful not to go outside of those lines. Just make sure that there are no white spaces here. Later, when we use the watercolors, it can go right on top of this a little bit and it won't matter. So that's why we're getting this done first. Now I have one wing left. I just rolled my marker around to the other side to give that side a break. You definitely want to take your time to fill in every little white space. You don't want it to look like scribble scrabble. Okay, so now this is called a silhouette. It is like the outline of and a shadow, it looks like, because our dragon is flying at night. Okay, we're going to, once you finish, so I'll give you another second, finish coloring in your dragon. And then you can make sure you put that cap back on really tight so that these don't dry out. And then you can set that aside. Then we're going to take our paintbrush and dip it in water. Okay, and just to the top part of the sky, I'm just going to wet my paper. Just rubbing water across here. You might not be able to see it. It's just shiny. I'm not putting the water on top of the moon or the marker really. I'm just going around it. Okay. So we got some water just across this top part. And now I'm going to put a little bit more water on my brush, and then I'm going to dip it into the blue. Just a little dip. You could even blot some off on the side there. And we're going to start at the top. We're just going to, because it's better to start with a little. You can always add more. So one more boop. I want to see those different shades where it's a little bit lighter in some places, a little bit darker in others. I want to work quickly here because I'll show you why in a second. I want all of this to be wet, and then I'm going to take a pinch of salt and sprinkle it right on top. Just sprinkling a little bit of salt on it. Don't sprinkle it on the rest of the paper yet. We're just at the top. And you'll see in a few seconds the color is going to resist over there where we put the salt, and it'll look like little white specks in the sky. Okay. I'm going to add a little more blue. I want this to come a little lower. But I'm doing it in sections because if it's not wet when you put the salt on it, it doesn't really do that effect that good. I'm going to be so careful around the moon. So go slower around the moon. And then I'm going to put another pinch of salt. You can see it's starting to happen up here and over here. I'm going to try and hold it up closer to show you. Can you see that? Where the colors are starting to resist the salt and you get those white little marks. Right. Now I'm going to take my brush into the water and I'm going to spread out water here because we are about to switch colors. So we're going to go, my water is a little bit light blue in it. That's okay. We're going to be blending colors anyway. So again, go slow near the moon. It's okay if your brush goes on top of the black a little bit. So this section here, and over here, probably up to the tail. Wetting, just water. Any of that blue you see is just whatever was left on my brush or what's kind of pulling from the other color we did. Okay, now put a little more water on your brush and then dip it into the purple. Okay, we're going to put, oops, if you get blue on your brush, just wipe some off. We're going to mix some purple in here. Going real slow near the moon. And I'm going to actually put a little bit of that purple on top of the blue. And a pinch of salt. Same thing over here now. A little more water on my brush. Purple. And here we go. I am, again, letting the purple go on top of the blue a little bit. Awesome. Now we're ready for another pinch of salt. Just sprinkling that on. Okay, now I'm going to wash my brush off. Okay, you can dry it right on the tablecloth gently. Then put a little more water and we're going to wet the next section. Okay, this next section is going to be a light green. So I put a lot of water through here. And now more water on my brush, a little bit of green. And I want it to be very light, so I'm just going to spread this out as far as it will go. See how much? I only did 2 dabs, and I'm using that for this whole area. I'm kind of letting it blend into each other a little bit. So that's why I put my brush into the purple and then pull it back down into the green. You can put a little bit of salt in there too. It's not going to show as much because we don't have that much paint. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush, put it in the blue and green. So now I have like a bluish green, okay? And I'm going to make it get a little darker as gradually as we go down. So blue and green on my brush. Not going all the way to the bottom yet. You'll see what we're doing in just a second. Just gradually getting a little bit darker. I'm going to let it come up a little bit on the sides, like that. Okay, now put more blue into your green puddle. Okay, let's see if this is dark enough. I want more blue in my green. I'm just scooping up some blue, putting it in the green. I'm gonna fill this whole bottom in with this blue-green color. And I'm not using any more salt now. You might see a few that kind of found their way down there, but I'm not going to sprinkle anymore. Okay. Can't wait to see what yours look like. All right, now I want it to look like there's some trees down there. So I'm going to take some blue and let's put a little bit of purple in our green puddle too. We're just trying to make this darker. Put some purple in the green puddle. Okay, and now I'm going to start dabbing. Watch me, you're going to want it to look like trees. So dabbing. You can watch for a minute first before you go and do it. This is just going to be some trees. All the way across the bottom. See how I'm just dabbing? And you see it's not all the same height. Some of them are shorter, some of them are taller. Awesome. So I'm still doing that, but I'm going to do it a little bit lower, just kind of sporadically putting some more dabbing. Across the bottom here. But not the whole thing. See, there's like other colors in there. I want to see those different shades. I want to see that too. Now I'm going to hold this up closer because I want to show you all of the things that are going on. So even over here where we did the lightest green, you could see where the salt took effect. And look in the sky there, how the blue overlapped on top of the purple. Once it's dry, we can wipe off the rest of the salt. So now you just want to take a look at it and see if there's any other touching up you need to do anywhere. Make sure you didn't paint into your moon. And then sometimes with watercolor paper, I'm going to move this up. Shifted on me. Sometimes with watercolor paper, it can curl up on you a little bit as it's drying. If it does that, you can just flip it over and put a book on top, and then it'll straighten back out. You could also put it in a frame, and then it'll stay flat. But that was working with watercolors and with salt. So I hope you had fun today. Can't wait to see what you created. And I will see you next time. Bye.